YouTube. We're about done with the camper. We're getting ready to take it out here pretty soon, but it's going to be an old school experience right here for sure, especially at our age. But we about got it done. We're on the final stages of this, and we're going to be getting back on that cabin pretty soon. But I wanted to talk to you a minute about an old saying that's here in Ohio, and I'm sure it's probably across America. I don't know if you believe in it or not. I do believe in it. It's called Dog Days. And Dog Days, July and August, I think. And it's got to do with the heat. And I think the weather and some other things. Water will stagnate in dog days. It's harder to take care of animals when dog days are on. And seems like weeds just absolutely go crazy, especially in the garden. Plants will do pretty well in dog days. Even the weather during the dog day season just changes. You're more apt to get an infection on a cut or scratch in dog days as well. I don't know. Dog days can be perhaps bad for a homestead, and it can be bad for a bushcrafter. Like I say, July and August are two of the worst months for the wild animals to get rabies. We encountered what we think an animal that has rabies, and we had to dispose of him or her, and it happens. It happens on a homestead. It's actually one of our worst enemies. It's the raccoon. Raccoons are very bad to get rabies. So is a skunk, and there's a few other animals as well. But if you're out hiking in the woods, or you're in your on your homestead, or wherever you may be, that you would encounter one, if that animal's not acting normal, you don't want to approach him. You don't even want to get close enough to take a picture. And any animal that has rabies is just as deadly dead as they are alive. So you have to be very careful. You don't want to touch it with your bare hands, but you will encounter them, especially this time of year. I'll show you around here a few things where they could be and things that you want to look for. For some reason, wasps and hornets and other insects, they just seem to go crazy this time of year. So, like I say, if you're bushcrafting, if you got a piece of property where you camp, or you got a little homestead someplace, you want to keep an eye out for them, and you really want to use a lot of caution. If you run into one, I would say your best possibility of what you would run into would be a raccoon right now. And again, most animals, if you'll notice, a lot of you spend enough time out in the wild or on your homestead or in a park or whatever. Most wild animals will take off as soon as you walk upon them. Most of them take off before you ever even get close to them. And they're going to see you way before you ever see them. But that we're going to make a video on that one of these days. Some of the downfalls of people not really getting to see animals and the reasons why. But again, we're about done with the camper, and we're going to be getting back on the cabin real soon. The garden, we still got a ways to go on it. We're real disappointed at the corn. We had a problem and an issue with the rain and the wind. But again, my videos are really not a learning how-to video, but I will make a video and show you what happens and what can happen. And if you go back in my videos, you'll see one of the first ones I think was we got hit with a frost at the beginning of the year. I lost all the sweet potato plants. And then as we move along in the garden there, you'll see where a storm knocked the tomatoes over and actually blew a huge tree over. And that's just some of the things, again, if you have a piece of property that you like to bushcraft on, camp on, or spend some time on, or you have a little homestead. And it doesn't matter how many acres, I don't look at it that way. If it's your backyard, that's good enough for me. But things you could run into, and it can happen anywhere. It can happen in any state. Things do happen, especially on a homestead. But there are some dangers on having a piece of property, and as you can see, the frost, the tree blowing over, and then the other day, we got an enormous rain. It was just very, very hard. And I do want to say this, it's bad for my garden that happened. But the one good thing about a hard, fast rain and a lot of rain is that it flushes the creeks and the rivers and the streams out. It'll even flush ponds out if it gets, they get enough of it. So there are a lot of good things from a good hard rain. But let me show you around a little bit. I got to show you something out here. It may be a little gross, maybe not for everybody, but we had to take care of it. It was a sick animal. So I'll show you around some of the places that you can look for, you know, on your property that you may run into some issues as time goes on. All right, we'll show you around here. Okay, real quick, I'm going to kind of show you around in this barn. We're in the barn today. And one problem that we have in this barn is mice. But wild animals, they like to get up on that, they really, really like to get up in the lofts of the barn. They like it high. Like they like to get up in a tree so they can keep an eye on everything. But and we've got some places here that occasionally something will get up in there, and they really, really like to sneak up on you. But we do have another barn on the property where they're really bad to get, and I'm going to show you. On this property here, we have a problem, not a problem, but we have a lot of frogs. And there's not a whole lot of water here, so I really don't understand where the frogs are coming from. Again, we're about done with this right here. And this has been an ongoing project for about 2 years. But we're about done, and we're almost ready to take it out. I did put a clear coat on it real quick. I don't want to make this video too long. And we clear coated the back of it here. And it doesn't look that bad. But again, we're getting ready to take this out and use it. So real quick, we'll get back with you. I'll show you a couple other things. Okay. This joker here can be your worst enemy on your homestead. And we actually didn't catch this over here. We caught it at the house. It was under my wife's car. And the thing was, I don't know what's happened, but it wasn't acting right, that's for sure. So we actually had to shoot this thing. And it's not like we deliberately like to do it, but they can be very dangerous, especially this time of year. And real quick, we'll walk back here. And most of the time I create the habitat for them to come to. We don't have any animals, excuse me, on this property. We don't have any domestic animals, let me say it that way. But we have a lot of wild animals that come here. And I create the atmosphere for them to do that. It's really my fault. But Brenda pointed this out, and I do need to clean it up, that this right here creates a habitat for not only wild animals, but for hornets and wasps and snakes and whatever else that that might want to find their way back here. We don't have any rats. I will say that. We do have some mice, and we had a mice problem right in here. We cleaned that up, and we're going to have to get back here and clean it up. But real quick here, you go around the cabin, and I'll show you. We've got something that's been digging here, right in there, and then there's something that's been digging here. But again, it's in the wild animal category there. So on your homestead or your property, it can be difficult to deal with them. And again, I've created the atmosphere for them to come to. They like it. Mainly that. Anytime you plant a garden, or anytime you have domestic animals, you invite the wild ones to come. And believe me, there's some of them wild ones, if you're raising chickens, you don't want them on your property, especially that coon. And you definitely don't want a weasel. But I'll show you up here. And we're trying to fix this problem even today, but I'll walk up here. And it's the conditions. Most of the time that I leave things lay, I'm a big dirt clod. And we've had groundhogs, and we've got a lot of rabbits on this property. I have not seen a rabbit on this property, very few of them, until this year. But we're trying to fill that in. We've got a hole here. And they love to get under your building. And they like to come out at nighttime. But it does create issues real quick. And that barn up there, we've got some wild animals up in the loft of it. And we're kind of waiting till it cools down. And we'll just say when the trapping season starts, and we can kind of make it legal there. But we try to keep anything that would rotten or anything that's going to decay, we try to keep it back here on this pile. And this is a good habitat to get some animals that you don't want. But we try to pile it up there, and we do try to pile the brush up here that we cut off the property. And again, the rabbits, they love that. But there's a lot of wild animals in this town. And also this town is very sympathetic, I'll say it that way, towards the wild animals and the environment and a lot of other things, especially here in this area. There's a lot of camping, a lot of hiking, a lot of canoeing. And they like to keep it that way, and I don't blame them. But anytime that you live near woods, and if you got a place that's got the woods, you may not see them, you don't hear them, but I can guarantee you beyond any shadow of a doubt that they're back there. And they're going to choose the easiest route that they can take. They're like a human. A human will go through a briar patch the easiest way that he can. A human will cross a fence the easiest way he can. And so will an animal. But again, it's the environment that I've created here. And we do have to make some changes to try to rid ourselves or kind of tame them down. But this year has just been a terrible year for the wild animals coming here. And again, we've got a lot of cleaning to do. We do have to make some changes. And we got a video coming up on the cabin there pretty soon. We haven't had time to spend on the cabin. We've been kind of waiting on it to cool down some, and we want to finish it out. We've enjoyed the gardens, and we're still enjoying the gardens this year. They've been a lot of work, and we're hoping to finish up with them. Again, we finished up with the camper, and we're not going to start any more new projects this year, but we are going to try to finish this. Our goal is to get this done by Thanksgiving Day. We would like to have a Thanksgiving dinner in here and maybe spend a night or two. So we'll be getting back on the cabin real soon. We do have plans for a new smokehouse here. And I got my friend Donna out there. I think she's going to help us butcher this year. So we're looking forward to that as well. And maybe curing some meat and smoking some meat. Pork, that is. And let me say God bless to you as always. Thanks for watching. I've kind of run this video a little bit over there, but we really appreciate you coming by the channel. We hope you subscribe to the channel. We want you to leave us a thumbs up if you would, and always leave us a comment. We'll try to answer any comments that we can, the best of our ability. And again, thanks for watching, and have a good day.